I'm holding a piece of paper that shouldn't exist. It's wrinkled, slightly yellowed, and it smells like the inside of a casket, that weird combination of silk lining and preservatives and something else I can't name. The funeral director handed it to me 3 days ago with an expression I couldn't read. Apologetic, maybe, or frightened. He said they found it during a routine check. He said it must have fallen out during transport. He said a lot of things, but all I heard was the sound of my husband's voice in my head, reading the words I'm reading now for the 5th time. The note was in the pocket of his leather jacket, the brown one with the worn elbows that smelled like him, even when he wasn't wearing it. The one I insisted they bury him in because I couldn't stand the thought of him in a suit he never wore while living, the one I pressed my face against at the funeral home before they closed the casket, breathing him in one last time. There was a note in the pocket, and I never knew. My name is Catherine. I'm 43 years old. I've been a widow for 6 weeks. My husband's name was I still don't know which tense to use. David. We were together for 17 years, married for 14. No kids, just us and the life we built in a small house in Portland, with a garden that David tended like it was his job. Tomatoes, basil, those stupid zucchini that grew faster than we could eat them. He'd bring them inside by the armful, grinning, asking me how many ways I could possibly cook zucchini. I miss the zucchini. I miss him asking me that question. I miss everything. He died on October 3rd. Heart attack. Sudden. He was 45 years old and healthier, so I thought. He went for a run that morning like he did every Saturday, 7 miles through the park, the same route he'd been running for 3 years. He came home, he showered, he made coffee, he kissed me on the forehead and said, "I'm going to work in the garden for a bit." Those were the last words he said to me. I'm going to work in the garden for a bit. 45 minutes later, I found him collapsed between the tomato plants. His hand was still holding the pruning shears. His face was gray. I called 911. I did CPR while I waited, pressing on his chest the way they showed us in that class we took at the community center 5 years ago, the one where we laughed about having to practice on plastic dummies. I pressed and I counted and I breathed into his mouth, tasting coffee and toothpaste and David, and I begged him to come back. He didn't come back. The EMTs tried for 23 minutes. They used the defibrillator twice. They pumped his chest. They injected things I couldn't name. And then one of them looked at me and said the words that split my life into before and after. "I'm sorry. There's nothing more we can do. He's gone. Gone." Such a small word for such a permanent thing. The autopsy said it was a massive coronary event. Widowmaker they called it. The kind that kills you before you know it's happening. No warning signs. No symptoms. Just alive one moment and dead the next. The cardiologist tried to explain it to me using words like occlusion and ischemia and myocardial infarction, but all I heard was, "You couldn't have saved him. You couldn't have known. There was nothing you could have done." But that's not entirely true, is it? Because there was something I could have done. I could have checked the pockets of his jacket before they closed the casket. The jacket has been David's favorite for years. He bought it at a thrift store in Seattle when we were there for our anniversary 6 years ago. Brown leather, soft as butter, with brass zippers and pockets everywhere. He wore it constantly. Fall, winter, spring, even on cool summer nights. He said it felt like a hug. I used to tease him about it. "You're going to be buried in that thing," I'd say. I didn't know how right I was. When I was picking out his clothes for the funeral, I couldn't imagine him in anything else. The funeral director suggested a suit. David's brother thought maybe the blue sweater he wore last Christmas. But I knew it had to be the jacket. David lived in that jacket. He loved that jacket. If he had to spend eternity in something, it should be the thing that felt like home to him. I brought it to the funeral home myself. I held it while they dressed him, and when they asked if I wanted a moment alone before the viewing, I pressed my face into the collar and breathed deep. It smelled like his cologne, something woody and clean, and like the garden, and like him. I didn't cry. I'd been crying for 3 days straight, and I had nothing left. I just stood there, holding his jacket, memorizing the smell. I never thought to check the pockets. Why would I? David wasn't the kind of person who left things in pockets. He was meticulous, organized. Every night before bed, he'd empty his pockets onto the dresser. Wallet, keys, phone, loose change, receipts, whatever small debris the day had left him with. The man didn't even leave tissues in his pockets when I did laundry. So no, I didn't check. It never occurred to me. The funeral was on October 10th. A week after he died. 7 days of calling people, making arrangements, choosing flowers, writing an obituary that couldn't possibly capture who he was. 7 days of moving through the world like a ghost myself, doing things that needed to be done, while feeling absolutely nothing. The funeral was small. David didn't want a big production. We'd talked about it once, morbidly, the way couples do when they're young enough to think death is theoretical. When I die, he'd said, keep it simple, just people who actually knew me. No strangers crying fake tears. No pastor who never met me pretending to know my soul. So that's what I did. 50 people. His brother and parents, my sister, friends from work, from the running club, from our Tuesday trivia team at the pub. The funeral director did the service because David was right. We didn't have a pastor. David believed in being good to people, not in any particular God. His brother gave a eulogy. I couldn't. I tried to write one, but every time I put pen to paper, I just wrote "he's gone" over and over, until the page was full. They closed the casket before they lowered him into the ground. I couldn't watch. I stood there with my sister's arm around me, staring at the grass, while they buried my husband in his favorite jacket. And that was supposed to be the end of it. That was supposed to be goodbye. But 3 days ago, the funeral director called. His name is Michael, mid-50s, gray hair, kind eyes, the kind of person who's probably buried hundreds of people and knows exactly what to say and when to say nothing. He asked if I could come to the funeral home. He said there was something I needed to see. He wouldn't tell me what over the phone. I drove there in a fog. I hadn't been back since the funeral. Hadn't driven past it. Hadn't thought about it. Hadn't wanted to. But Michael sounded serious, and I couldn't imagine what would require me to come back. Had I forgotten to pay something? Had they made a mistake with the headstone? When I arrived, Michael was waiting in his office. He looked uncomfortable. That was the first sign something was wrong. Funeral directors don't look uncomfortable. They look professionally compassionate, neutral. But Michael looked like he didn't want to be having this conversation. "Mrs. Patterson," he said, "please, sit down." I sat. He pulled out a plastic bag, the kind they use for evidence on TV shows. Inside was a piece of paper, folded into quarters. He set it on the desk between us like it might explode. "I need to explain something," he said, "and I need you to know that this has never happened before in my 30 years of doing this work. We have protocols, we have checks, but sometimes, very rarely, things fall through the cracks." I stared at the bag, at the paper inside. "After the burial, we conduct a routine inspection of the transport vehicle. It's standard procedure. We check for any personal items that might have been left behind, any damage, anything unusual. 3 days ago, during one of these inspections, we found this." He gestured to the bag. "It was on the floor of the vehicle. It must have fallen out of your husband's jacket pocket during transport to the burial site. I don't know how we missed it. I can only apologize." "What is it?" My voice sounded far away. "It's a note, addressed to you. It appears to be in your husband's handwriting." The room tilted. "That's impossible." I thought so too, but I compared it to the signature on his funeral arrangements. It's definitely his writing, and based on the paper and ink, I'd estimate it was written relatively recently, perhaps in the last few months. He pushed the bag across the desk. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Patterson. I know this must be incredibly difficult. If there's anything we can do." I took the bag, stood up, walked out. I don't remember getting to my car. I don't remember driving home. I just remember sitting in my driveway, staring at the plastic bag in my hands, unable to open it. That was 3 days ago. The bag sat on my kitchen counter for 48 hours. I walked past it maybe 100 times. I picked it up, put it down, carried it to the living room, back to the kitchen. I couldn't open it, but I couldn't throw it away either. Last night, at 2 in the morning, I finally broke the seal. The paper was normal, nothing special. Just a piece of notebook paper torn from a spiral, judging by the ragged edge. The ink was blue. David's favorite pen was blue. He said black ink was too harsh, too permanent. Blue felt friendlier, more human. His handwriting was unmistakable, slightly slanted to the right. The way he made his A's with the tail curving up, the way he dotted his I's a little off-center. It was him, absolutely him. The note said 3 words at the top. "If you're reading this," I had to stop. "Put it down. Walk away." Those 4 words meant he'd planned for this. He'd written this knowing he might die, knowing someone would find it, knowing I would read it, which meant he knew, somehow, He knew. I picked the note back up, kept reading. If you're reading this, Catherine, then something happened to me. Something sudden. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you had to find me. I'm sorry I left you alone. I'm sorry for every single day you're going to have to live without me, even though the thought of you in pain is the worst thing I can imagine. I've been carrying this note in my jacket for 4 months. Every day, I put it in my pocket. Every night, I take it out and read it, and I tell myself I'm being paranoid. I'm being dramatic. Nothing's going to happen. But I keep putting it back, just in case. Because there are things you need to know, things I should have told you while I was alive, but I couldn't. I tried. God, I tried so many times, but every time I started to say the words, I'd look at you and I'd see how happy you were, how good our life was, and I couldn't destroy that. So I kept quiet, and I wrote this instead. I'm sick, Catherine. I have been for almost a year. The letters swim. I have to stop again, breathe, count to 10, keep going. Last November, 11 months ago, I went for a routine physical. You remember? You were annoyed because I scheduled it during the day when I should have been at work, and I came home 3 hours late and said it took forever. I lied. It didn't take forever. I just couldn't come home yet. I couldn't face you with what they'd told me. The doctor found an irregularity in my heart. An electrical problem. They did an EKG, then an echocardiogram, then a stress test, then more tests I can't even name. The diagnosis was complicated, but the simple version is this. My heart has been misfiring, skipping beats, going too fast, then too slow. It's unpredictable, and it's dangerous. They said I could live for years with medication and monitoring, or I could drop dead tomorrow. There's no way to know. They wanted to put in a defibrillator, a little device that shocks your heart back into rhythm if it stops. I said no. I know that sounds crazy. I know you're reading this and thinking, why the hell didn't he get the surgery? But Catherine, the surgery had risks. There was a chance I could have a stroke during the procedure, a chance of infection, a chance it wouldn't work at all. And even if it worked, I'd have this thing in my chest for the rest of my life. I'd have to avoid magnets, metal detectors, certain exercises. I'd have to go in for checks every few months. I'd have to live like a patient instead of a person. I didn't want that. I didn't want to spend whatever time I had left being afraid, being careful, being sick. I wanted to spend it being alive. So I said no to the surgery. I took the medication. I saw the cardiologist every 6 weeks like clockwork. I monitored my symptoms, and I lived, Catherine. I really lived. Because when you know you're on borrowed time, you stop wasting it. Do you remember how I started running more? How I got obsessive about the garden? How I'd wake you up at midnight sometimes just to say I loved you? That wasn't random. That was me trying to fit a lifetime of love into however many days I had left. You asked me once why I was wearing the jacket so much. You said I was going to wear it out. I told you it was comfortable. The truth is, I kept this note in the pocket because I wanted it with me. I wanted to make sure that if something happened, if my heart stopped while I was out running, or working, or sleeping next to you, you'd find this. You'd know the truth. You'd know it wasn't your fault, because that's what I'm most afraid of, Catherine. I'm afraid you're going to blame yourself. I'm afraid you're going to replay that last morning over and over, looking for signs you missed. I'm afraid you're going to torture yourself with what ifs. So I need you to hear this. There was nothing you could have done, nothing you missed, nothing you should have seen. I hid this from you on purpose. I lied to you on purpose. Because I wanted you to be happy. I wanted us to have a normal life for as long as we could. I wanted to protect you from the fear I was carrying every single day. Was that the right choice? I don't know. Probably not. You deserved the truth. You deserved the chance to say goodbye. But I'm a selfish coward. Catherine, I couldn't stand the thought of you looking at me differently, of you treating me like I was fragile, of you spending every day waiting for me to die. So I kept my secret, and I lived like I was invincible, and I loved you as hard as I could for as long as I could. If you're reading this, it means my time ran out. It means the heart thing finally caught up with me, and I'm devastated. Catherine, not for me. I'm gone. I don't feel anything anymore. But I'm devastated for you, for the life we were supposed to have, for the years we were supposed to grow old together, for every single day you're going to wake up alone. But here's what I need you to do. I need you to live, really live, not just survive, but thrive. I need you to sell that house if it's too full of ghosts. I need you to travel, go to Italy like you always wanted. I need you to let people help you. I need you to let yourself be happy again, even though it feels impossible right now. And I need you to know that I don't regret a single second of our life together. Not one. From the day I met you at that ridiculous pottery class where neither of us had any talent, to the morning I died, every single moment with you was a gift. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. You made my life, however long or short, it turned out to be worth living. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I'm gone. I'm sorry for the pain this is causing you. But I'm not sorry I loved you. I'm not sorry I chose you. I'm not sorry we had 17 years, even if I wanted 70 more. Thank you, Catherine, for every coffee you made me, for every terrible joke you laughed at, for every time you held me without asking why, for choosing me every single day. I love you. I'm gone, but I love you always. David. P.S. The life insurance is in the filing cabinet under important docs. It's a lot more than you think. I tripled it when I got diagnosed. Use it. Don't feel guilty. I want you taken care of. I want you to have choices. I want you to have freedom. That's my last gift to you. Please take it. The note falls from my hands. I'm on the floor. I don't remember falling, but I'm on the kitchen floor with my back against the cabinets, and I'm sobbing so hard I can't breathe. My chest is heaving. My throat is raw. My hands are shaking. He knew. He knew, for 11 months, almost a year, while I was complaining about work, while I was planning our summer vacation, while I was annoyed that he forgot to pick up milk. He was dying. He was walking around with a time bomb in his chest, and he never said a word. I think about all the small things that suddenly make sense. The way he started hugging me longer. The way he'd stop mid-conversation sometimes and just stare at me, like he was memorizing my face. The way he cried during our last anniversary dinner, and when I asked why, he said he was just happy. He wasn't just happy. He was grieving. He was saying goodbye. He was trying to fit a lifetime of love into whatever time he had left. And I missed it. I missed all of it, except I didn't miss it, did I? I felt it. I felt every extra hug, every long look, every midnight I love you. I just didn't know what it meant. I thought he was being romantic, sweet, extra David. I didn't know he was dying. I sit on that floor for hours. The sun comes up. Light fills the kitchen. The note is next to me, and I read it 3 more times. Each time, I find something new. Some phrase that breaks me all over again. Some detail that makes me want to scream. He protected me. That's what he did. He carried this secret alone so I wouldn't have to carry it with him. He lied so I could be happy. He died so I could live without the weight of waiting. And I'm furious. I'm so angry I could break things. Because he didn't give me a choice. He decided what I could handle. He decided what I deserved to know. He made himself the hero of this story, the martyr who sacrificed his truth for my happiness. And he didn't ask me if that's what I wanted, but I'm also grateful. God, I'm so grateful, because he's right. If I'd known, I would have treated him differently. I would have been afraid every second, every time he went for a run, every time he worked in the garden, every time he slept too soundly. I would have been waiting for it to happen. And he spared me that. He gave me 11 months of normal, of happiness, of us. I don't know if that was the right choice. I don't know if I would have made the same one, but it was his choice to make. His life, his death, his secret. And now it's mine. I spend the rest of the day in a fog. I call my sister and tell her everything. She cries with me. She says she understands why he did it, even though it was wrong. She asks if I'm okay. I say no. I don't think I'll ever be okay again, but I'll be something. Eventually, I go to the filing cabinet, find the folder labeled Important Docs. Inside is a life insurance policy. He wasn't kidding. It's 3 times his salary. Enough to pay off the house. Enough to live on for years. Enough to go to Italy and Greece and anywhere else I want. He planned for this. While he was dying, he was planning for my life after him, making sure I'd be okay. Making sure I'd have options, making sure his death wouldn't destroy me financially on top of emotionally. That's love, isn't it? Not the flowers and the poetry and the grand gestures, but the quiet, practical, boring work of making sure the person you love survives you. That's what he did. He loved me enough to plan for his own death. I find other things too. A folder with instructions, passwords to accounts, contact info for his financial advisor. A list of repairs the house needs and who to call. He thought of everything, or he tried to. There's one more thing in the folder, an envelope with my name on it. Not sealed, just folded closed. I open it. Inside is a photo of us from our anniversary trip to Seattle 6 years ago, the day he bought the jacket. We're standing in front of Pike Place Market, grinning like idiots, and he's wearing the jacket for the first time. It still looked new then, stiff, not yet broken in by years of wear. On the back, in his handwriting, "Best day of my life so far. All the days with you are the best days." I cry again. But this time it's different. This time it's not just grief. It's also something else. Gratitude, maybe, or relief, or love. The kind of love that doesn't end just because someone dies. The kind that keeps existing in notes and photos and memories, and the way your chest aches when you think about them. David is gone. He's been gone for 6 weeks, but he's also here, in this note, in this photo, in the garden where zucchini are probably growing wild without him, in the jacket I'll never see again because it's buried 6 feet under, except I don't need to see the jacket. I have the note, I have his words, I have the truth, and the truth is this: he loved me. He loved me so much he lied to protect me. He loved me so much he planned for my future. He loved me so much he carried a note in his pocket every single day for 4 months, just in case, just so I'd know. I'm angry. I'm devastated. I'm broken in ways I didn't know I could break. But I'm also loved. Even now, even after, I'm loved. 2 weeks later, I go back to the cemetery. I haven't been since the funeral. I wasn't ready, but now I am. Or I'm not, but I'm going anyway. His headstone is simple: David Patterson, beloved husband, 1979 to 2024. We didn't add anything flowery. He wouldn't have wanted it. I sit on the grass next to his grave. It's cold. November now. The leaves are gone. Everything is gray and dead and waiting for winter. I found your note, I say out loud. I feel stupid talking to a headstone, but I do it anyway. It was in your jacket, the one I buried you in. The funeral home found it 3 days ago. So I guess your plan worked. I found it. I read it. And I'm furious with you. The wind picks up. A leaf skitters across his grave. You should have told me. I deserved to know. I deserved the choice to be there with you, to be scared with you, to fight with you. You took that from me. You decided what I could handle, and you were wrong. I could have handled it. I could have handled anything if we were handling it together. I'm crying now again, always, but I also understand. I hate that I understand. I hate that you were right about some of it. I would have been terrified every day. I would have watched you like a hawk. I would have made you stop running, stop gardening, stop living. So maybe you were protecting both of us. Maybe you were giving us both one last year of normal. I pulled the note out of my pocket. I've been carrying it with me everywhere, the way he carried it. Just in case. I'm going to Italy, I tell him. I'm using the insurance money, and I'm going to Italy, and Greece, and anywhere else I want, because you were right about that too. I need to live. I need to keep going. Not because I'm over you. I'll never be over you. But because you loved me enough to make sure I could. I stand up, brush the grass off my jeans. The same jeans I was wearing the day he died. The ones I was going to throw away because they felt cursed. But they're not cursed. They're just jeans, just fabric, just things. I love you, I say to the headstone, to the ground, to wherever he is, if he's anywhere at all. I'm furious with you, and I miss you, and I love you. All of it, at the same time. Always. I walk back to my car. I drive home. I make coffee the way he taught me. I sit in the garden where he died, and I start making a list. Italy, Greece, Thailand, all the places we talked about but never went, all the some days that became nevers. I'm going to do them. For him, for me, for us, because he's gone, but I'm not. And the note in his jacket was his way of telling me to keep living, even though he couldn't. So I will. If you're reading this, if you're listening to this, if you've ever lost someone suddenly and spent months torturing yourself with what ifs and should haves, I need you to hear this. You can't save someone who's already dying. You can't see the signs that don't exist. You can't prevent the unpredictable, but you can honor them by living, really living, not just surviving, not just getting through, but actually living the life they wanted for you. David spent his last year making sure I could survive without him. The least I can do is prove him right. The note is still in my pocket. I carry it everywhere now, not because I need to keep reading it. I've memorized every word, but because it makes me feel less alone. It makes me feel like he's still here, in some small way, reminding me that I was loved, that I am loved. that love doesn't end just because a heart stops beating. I found a note in the jacket I buried him in, and it changed everything I thought about his death, about our marriage, about love itself. He's gone. But his words are here, and they're enough. They have to be, because they're all I have left. I love you, David. I'm furious, and I'm grateful, and I'm broken, and I'm healing. All of it, at the same time, always.